Dorothy was a very hard-working girl. Her bosses valued and trusted her with the most difficult and responsible projects. And now she was sent on a business trip, as no one better than this young and promising employee could cope with the complexity of a new project. Dorothy did not go alone on this trip. A new colleague was sent with her. Anthony had recently joined their company and made a good impression. The girl was happy to introduce the new employee to the company. She liked helping Anthony, and communicating with him was easy and pleasant. The guy skillfully complimented her, sometimes bringing coffee exactly as the young woman preferred, sometimes treating her to her favorite sweets. And in the end they became friends, and then they had a love affair. Anthony wooed her beautifully. Everything was just like in the movies. The girl had no idea that she could arouse such passionate emotions of an admirer. Every day was not like the other one, and the flowers did not have time to wither in their baskets. On one of those days Anthony invited Dorothy in the evening to a restaurant. The girl came home after work, took a shower, went out and began to think about what to wear. Something told her today's meeting was special, and Dorothy began to go through her clothes, taking them out of the closet. The bell rang and a courier stood on the doorstep and handed her a large but light box. Dorothy signed for it and opened the box with curiosity. The silver cardboard box contained a beautiful dress. Dorothy unwrapped it and the dress flowed with silver waterfalls of the finest silk. The girl hurried to try it on. No one thing had ever fit her so perfectly. Dorothy arrived at the restaurant on time. Anthony got up to meet her. The evening was really unusual and ended with the presentation of an engagement ring. Dorothy left the restaurant a happy girl. And a month later their wedding took place. The celebration was great. A lot of flowers, exquisite cuisine, in general, everything was on high. The guests went away happy and tired. The family life began. Anthony has moved to live in a spacious apartment of the wife in the city center, since before wedding he rented apartment. One day Dorothy went to buy food and noticed a little girl about 7 years old at the entrance to the store. She was standing and asking passers-by for charity. Dorothy could not pass by. Her heart ached with pity for the child. She bought her groceries and gave her some cash, and then she asked her name and where her parents were. It turned out the girl's name was Kate. Her mother died a long time ago, and her stepfather and grandmother were always drinking, and making her ask for money to buy them drinks. If the girl came back with nothing, she was beaten. The girl told all of this with tears in her eyes. Dorothy felt pity for the little girl and promised to do something about it. In the evening Dorothy could hardly wait for Anthony to show up. She told him about the little girl and offered to take her to their place. But her husband was horrified by her idea. He thought that such children had many problems because of bad genetics. Dorothy was upset. She thought that she and Anthony were on the same wave, that he was a sympathetic and kind man. Only now she realized that she didn't know much about the man she was living with. And then it only got worse. Anthony had recently been transferred to another branch of the company. And a month later Dorothy's friend saw Anthony in a cafe with another girl and told Dorothy in detail how he stroked her hand and smiled. Dorothy did not like hearing this, and in the evening she asked her husband who he was with in the cafe. Anthony said without blinking an eye that it was a colleague with whom he was just having lunch and discussing business issues, and to finish an unpleasant conversation he hugged Dorothy. But from that moment something in their relationship began to change rapidly. Dorothy understood this in her heart and shared her worries with her friend. She was the one who suggested Dorothy to put up the cameras and allegedly go away on a business trip. Dorothy said she would think about it. But that very night she found under the bed another woman's panties. The young woman was thrown into a fever, but then Anthony came home as if on wings and began to twirl and kiss his wife. It turned out that he was promoted to head of department. Dorothy did not dare to start an unpleasant conversation, so as not to spoil the feast for her beloved husband. And at night she could not sleep for a long time. She wondered how she should live her life. Only in the morning she fell asleep with the final decision to put the cameras on. Especially since she had to go on a business trip for 4 days. All these days away from home she was tormented by guilt over her husband, that she did not trust him and was watching him. But after returning from the business trip and watching the cameras, Dorothy realized that everything was not in vain. Her beloved Anthony had fun with the blonde, and when she turned to face the camera, Dorothy was surprised to find the wife of the founder of the company. In the evening, Anthony came home from work and immediately embraced Dorothy and kissed her. But Dorothy pulled away and told him that she knew all about him and the boss's wife. Anthony went pale, but after a second pause he gathered his thoughts and began to convince his wife again that she was wrong. Without saying a word, the woman played the tape. There was no point in continuing to deny it, and Annan admitted his guilt, and then proceeded to threaten her. He said that if she told anybody, the boss's wife would immediately throw her out of the company with bad references. Dorothy only laughed out loud and said that in the morning she had sent a piquant video to her husband for the family collection. Anthony didn't know what to say and gulped for air like a fish thrown on dry land, and Dorothy immediately rolled out his suitcase of belongings and told him to get out of the apartment and her life. And the next day he was fired, and in his place was appointed Dorothy, because all the necessary competence and experience were with her. A few days later the young woman found that girl Kate and took her away from her drunken stepfather and grandmother. After going through all the steps, Dorothy succeeded in getting custody of the little girl, and Kate finally found a warm and clean home, her mother's care and attention. And in another year the woman met a decent man who never told her about passionate love, not swamped with bouquets of scarlet roses, not whispered sweet words in her ear. But he was caring, attentive, kind, respected Faith, and was on the same wave with her. Dear friends, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to our channel and like the video. We really need your support. Have a great day and see you again.